What's up, Tom and Jerry? Okay. Status update. I'm in the office today. I need to do work for Maven. This isn't cheating. I have a podcast on Tuesday, and Mondays are a lot of content I make. That being said, I'm gonna utilize that I have an oven and a coffee machine. Because that's what you would have in an office, I would think. So I'm gonna make some bread and I have some coffee, which is beautiful. I got a bad injury on my lat that's causing me to sleep poorly. The Jeep's not helping. Anyways, I think it's going to reject right here. Potentially a rejection right there. Why? Because they keep missing this level. This is the actual level here. They keep missing it. Yesterday's idea, or Friday's idea, was dead on accurate. They didn't take it until Sunday. They closed out here and then rocketed up Sunday. So that would have been nice to sit in, but I closed it right before market close. Our status so far is we're sitting roughly break even. A little bit less than $100 in profit on that. Your goal as a day trader is to beat 20% per year, because that's what you could just get by you get 18% by investing in the NASDAQ, right? So dusty. So your goal is to get at least 20% a year. Say 24%, so 2% a month, right? That's your goal, 2% a month. It doesn't seem that hard now, does it? What's 2% a month on 10K? 10,000 times 0.102. What times 1.02? $200, right? So my goal by the end of the month is to have at least $200 in profit. And that's how I know I beat the market. To do that every month, though. At least 200 every month. Right? No down months. I suspect it's rejecting here. Super realistic, right? Bro, I don't know what any of these characters mean. Also, fuck off. No asking for money. Giving you money would do nothing for you. How come you manage your psychology after I assume you mean, how do I manage my psychology after drawdown? I don't care about money. No news today? Thanks, Kimo. So here's the issue with kind of the homeless sort of challenge, like the small account sort of flipping and survival and growing accounts and whatnot, right? The problem with that is you're trying to grow as quickly as possible, right? The only way trading works is when you don't care about making the money, right? So when I'm doing this challenge, I fully expect it to not work, right? Because it'd be very, very difficult. I would have to be an incredibly good trader to be able to do this, right? The way I'm doing it is I'm reducing all my expenses to zero so that I care less, okay? But if you need to eat to trade, or you have to trade to eat, you're probably not making money unless you're incredible, okay? I'm not, I don't think I'm an incredible trader, but I think I can do it. I just fully expect that there's a good chance I fail. It's like 50-50. There's the kiss. That's the level we wanted. I was just worried. I don't know why. I'm gonna take a short on this. I missed it. Take a short.
Order filled.
Did I buy it? Oh no, I shorted it, right? That's a short, right? Yeah. Oh, don't do that.
Order filled.
Are they seriously gonna do that shit? Reject it, baby. Nice. Let's go. Let's go! Yeah, I was a little worried. I completely forgot market open. It was before market open. Let's go. Come on, reject it. Reject it. Reject it. Reject it. Let's go. Nice. That's a good rejection. Bullish momentum strong. Doesn't matter. You don't know how to trade. Did I slaughter scroll? Not yet. That's the level we wanted, huh? Reject it, baby. Let's go. Where does that go to? Oh, we're pretty good on that. pretty good on that. Right. Fucking nuke it, baby. Where's it gonna go to? That's a question. We'll draw the level here. Do you think? Yeah, probably something like that. Wow. That'd be really gay if that's all they did. Okay, so failure here. Go to the next one. Failure to gain here, hopefully, too. Reject it. Fucking hell. Oh. Stop loss and take profit. I don't have one. I do it. I change based off of market conditions. Trading's the best thing happened. That's awesome, dude. Am I okay? We're doing okay. They're not taking that at all, hey? That was my worry. Okay. Let's see. Okay, hang it up. Don't like that. Oh, they don't like that. I don't want to sit in that. Great thing about holding stocks though is we actually made money on that pump up. You know, as long as it doesn't just drop back down. So shorting is always a hedge when you're doing something like this, okay? There is a potential that we get back in, but it's too there's no level that I know behind here, so it could just destroy us. You know what I mean? The next level up is like way up here, and I'm not willing to sit in that. So I'm managing the potential loss. Right? And the fact that they had a really solid close tells me that there's no reason to be in there anymore. It was a 1 minute scalp, and we don't do 1 minute scalps. So we'll wait a bit. We'll do a giveaway. This will start acting as support most likely. Assuming we get closes. We don't want to switch bullish yet until there's until the 7 o'clock probably. Because they could short it off here and then break down there still. Let me drop this. They could still reject. Just because last week was pretty bearish, right? Pretty bearish and bullish, right? On both sides. But the reality is you probably want to be buying here and selling here, considering we have that spinner. I feel sorry for the people who saw units sell and sold and they're still holding. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't you should never be attached to a trade. You know what I'm saying? Like the second that I realized that was too risky, I got out. Okay. The trading is not a game of being right. It's a game of managing your risk. And whether that means adding or removing positions, getting out once you realize that, hey, this is probably have a really large drawdown potential. I don't want to lose that much, right? Always manage how much you could lose, right? Okay, giveaway plus loss. I will say something is different about the market lately. They are not respecting levels like they were before. Like for the past couple months, the levels are not being respected at all. Like they're going 50 pips, 50 ticks behind a level and then reversing. I'm noticing, right? Like that's massive. That is so massive. See what I'm saying? That is an insane amount of drawdown for an accurate level. They're doing this every day, actually. They're going behind levels, right? Like significantly behind levels. Not just like a little top, right? Okay, again, you won 5K one step from Maven. Open up a ticket in the Maven Discord to claim your prize. We need to wait. They are using it as support. It's too iffy right now for me. Just chill. I would like to get this guy back to profit at some point today. How do you beat psychology and keep your rules of being a trader? Don't care about the money. It's always every single time you guys ask the same question, I'm going to give you the same answer. How do you fix your psychology? Don't care. You need to not care. That's the solution. You need to not care. How do you get to that point where you don't care about the money? Well, one, risk less, that the amount that you lose is not important. Two, think about what does money actually do for you? Well, essentially nothing, because you're not actually going to spend the money. You're just going to grow the account, right? So it doesn't do anything for you. Eventually, maybe a decade down the line, okay, maybe you spend the money because you start earning really good money, right? But as a beginner trader, first of all, you're never going to be growing your account. You have to accept that everything you put in is going to lose, right? For the first few years. What do you do when you're in deep drawdown? Nothing different. I love the questions, guys. Keep them coming. They're all terrible. They're all just terrible questions because you already know the answer. Money does a lot. Wrong. You think it does a lot. It's a belief system you have ingrained in you because our culture tells you money is important. That's why I'm doing this homeless challenge, because you really don't need that much money. And I know you guys, you know, in Nigeria or India or wherever you're from are going to be like, $1,000 is a shitload of money. Yes, for you guys in your country, it is a shitload of money. $1,000 in my country is fucking below the poverty level, okay? And I'm living off of $1,000, okay? $1,000 in a month, below the poverty level. The poverty level is like $2,500 a month. It's like less than half of the poverty level, okay? You can't pay rent with $1,000 here. The average rent cost of a 1-bedroom is $3,000 a month. I'll say that again. The average rent is 1/3 of what I'm living off of, okay? So in theory, you can live off of anything, right? I wouldn't be able to pay. I would be able to pay for a house for 1 week and no food. One bedroom, but not a house even. A 1-bedroom apartment is $3,000 a month on average here. Because we don't have the amount you're calling out. Obviously you don't, but the cost of things in your country is much less, right? That's what the point I'm trying to make. It's all the same. It's all the same. You're getting the same amount of whatever, right? It's just maybe give and take little bits here and there, right? Go to Surrey. Yeah. Give and take little bits here and there. But the reality is the things in your country, if you get paid less in your country, the things in your country cost less as well. Right? It's not like, hey, I only make $500 a month. And I still have to spend $3,000 on rent. No, it's not. That doesn't. No, your rent there is much cheaper, right? So you know what I mean, or your cost of goods is much cheaper. Like a fucking here, I'll give you an example. A coffee here is $8, right? If I go to a coffee shop, it's $8. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they're rallying it. The Bulls are in town, boys. That was such a terrible rejection. Such a terrible rejection. Good thing we got some fucking hood going, bro. Fuck yeah. Okay, the 15 gained pretty hard. If it comes back down, I'll take a long. I pay $300 a month. I have 3 bedrooms, security 24/7, a swimming pool, tennis court, parking lot, etc. Exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. But I bet your average salary in your country is much less. You know what I mean? So, okay, here's the God honest truth of what I think you should do. So I'm trying to replicate trading and living off of trading, right? I don't recommend anyone ever do that. I recommend you get a job online, a job where you can be mobile, right? Live as frugally as possible, whether you have a cheap apartment or you're sleeping in the back of your car or you're sleeping at your mom's house or something like this, right? Do that for like 2 years, okay? And then trade on prop firms and grow, and every prop firm challenge that you get a payout from, put it into your personal account. Don't touch it, just invest. Invest on your personal account, long-term swing trades on your personal account only, okay? And then have an online job that you can work remotely, okay? So you don't actually have to be anywhere expensive, right? You can be living cheap, okay? For people living in a country like Nigeria, India, something like this, work online for someone, you know, like me, for example, or like someone in the West, right? Where you can get a decent salary pretty easily, I suppose. I'm not sure how easy it is, honestly. So I assume I don't honestly know that much because I'm not Indian or Nigerian. I don't know how difficult that is to reach out and actually find a job. But there are some people that do it, right? That would be the best bet because then you can make a good salary and like the amount of money it's easy for me to hire someone for like $500 a month, right? Because it does not cost the company very much, you know what I mean? So I would prefer hiring for less, you know what I mean? And then from there, live off of that money because it's stable and then grow the account. I don't recommend doing what I'm doing. I'll probably do this for a couple of months and then stop and then do another challenge, right? I'll do something different once it starts getting super cold and terrible. But we're gonna see it. We're gonna see if it's possible, right? That's the whole point. Is I have no clue if this is even possible. I mean, it's possible, I guess. I have no clue if I can do it. Is the thing. I don't hire web developers. I'm not offering any jobs. How about if you're in the West and you already own, I guess your own home? If you're in the West, just get a you could get a you could just get a 9 to 5. You wouldn't have to be pressured to work online. You get a 9 to 5 and then swing trade. If you're in the West where I am, like BC on the West Coast, I would trade in the morning on the market open, day trade, set up your swing trades for the day, go to work. As you're leaving work at 5 p.m., that's when Asia opens. Check the market again to see, okay, are there any swing trades I want to play? Now, place your limit orders. So what I do in the overnight session is I place my limit orders just in case there's something I want to fill for swing trading. That'll happen overnight, right? Something that you don't need a stop loss for, something that's just buys, only buys, right? And I place them pretty far in case market fucking just kisses, right? And then I leave those, and then when I wake up in the morning, I close them, and then I do my day trading. So swing trade overnight, day trades during the day, go to work during the day, and you can grow super fast that way because you can live off of your yeah. Great advice, I think. I was in BC and now Toronto. I'm thinking of doing an apprenticeship for trade. So if you're in Toronto or New York time zone, okay. What I would do differently. Show up to work early, right? Depending on when you're working, of course, right? Because the New York time zone opens at 9:30. Show up to work early, set up for the pre-market, be at work already for the pre-market, and then have the trades going while you're at work, right? Right? If you're working an office job or something, you'll be at a desktop. So go to work at like 8 a.m., set up things, start doing a little bit of work early, right? Depending on when you're working, and then use that 9:30 to 10:30 sort of time block to like focus on the trades a bit. Use that as your lunch break or something. You know what I'm saying? And then you're at work already, you're already focused, your brain's working, right? And then again, when the markets close, when you're done work, 5 p.m. or whatever, go home, set up the market for Asia Open, which would be 8 p.m. your time in New York. For when you set the limit orders after dinner, right? Have your dinner, set your limit orders, leave them overnight, and then wake up in the morning, go to work, check in on things, whatever. Right? There's a different strategy slightly for depending on what time zone you are. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, bust up, yeah. How do prop firms hire? I don't really. Just customer support. Usually we just hire people who are active in the Discord. For me, if I hire, what I did, because I was looking for editors, is I went on Upwork. I tested some people out. I tested like 5 people out for simple projects, seen which ones replied the best, seen which ones made the best content, was able to adapt to my suggestions, and then hired them full time. What John does to hire developers is he goes to an agency, hires them through the agency, right? And then if they work well for a year, tries to buy them out of their contract, and then bring them on board. What Seb does is just hires from the Discord, I think. Problem in Nigeria is you won't be able to find a job that allows you to trade at all. No job will allow you to do another job while doing their job. That's true in every country. It's not specific to Nigeria. Don't tell them you're trading, obviously. Do it in the background, keep a monitor, take 5 minutes every hour to check on it, right? And nobody's gonna give a fuck. They're just ripping it, eh? There's all-time high, huh? I guess not all-time high, but coming close. We're gonna watch this level. Buying on something like this is silly. They honestly didn't give a buy opportunity at all today. They just ripped it up. Which is, I mean, fair by me, because what the strategy basically is honestly, I should just honestly on this account I should just be swing trading these massive dips, right? I shouldn't even be really day trading here. I should only be day trading on the prop firm, because you better drawdown. Because if you think about it realistically, like, I'm not going to sit in a trade for more than a $500 loss on this, right? But on this, I can sit in a $2,000 loss, right? And still be comfortable, right? But that $2,000 only cost me 50, right? So the prop firm makes way more sense, because I can sit in a trade longer, and it costs me less. This personal account, you probably just want to be swing trading, realistically. We did take that swing trade down here. I've got a friend. She does I believe this is how she works it. All she does is she lets the trade run each day, right? She'll try to enter a long, right? And then if it happens to be a long, she'll just let it run for the whole day, right? So if she happens to get the long, she allows herself a certain amount of drawdown, right? She allows like $200 drawdown or whatever. And if it hits the drawdown, the $200 loss, she takes the loss, right? How long were you unprofitable? Many years. Did I wash the Jeep? No, I'm not going to. Rain will eventually. Did you start vaping because you can't handle the stress? No. Vaping doesn't lower my stress, it increases it actually. Why did I start vaping? No reason in particular. I don't know. Tastes okay. I don't know. It's something to do. It's like a fidget. This one's green apple ice, green apple mint. It's like it's a fidget thing that if you keep pumping it, right, it ends up making me dizzy and anxious. Um, doesn't really do anything. Doesn't increase focus. Doesn't do anything beneficial other than it's a fidget. Do I smoke weed? No, I don't do any drugs. I'll take a microdose of mushrooms. I'll do something like that. But obviously, not while I'm working though. Obviously, like if I go out to the woods or if I go out to if I go to a concert or something, I'll take a microdose of mushrooms. Or if I'm like a party sort of environment or camping sort of environment, I'll take a microdose of mushrooms. But I don't do any drugs other than that. Drugs will for sure destroy your trading. We want your live. Leave the vaping. Vaping is not going to kill me. There. Discovered Sumo because of you. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Trader Sumo is the best trader I know. He is by far significantly better than I am. I do something very similar to him. I started Dumb Money Concepts because of his concepts, right? Um, I don't know what he does fully. I don't fully understand it. But my concepts are pretty much the same. You know what I mean? Like he is so far superior than I am. So they are failing on that level. They failed there. If it comes up, I'll give a better opportunity. I'll take the short again. Back down to here. They failed it all, right? Looks like something like this probably today. Hopefully. How were you able to have a normal life outside of trading? How long did it take you? I'm not sure exactly what that question means, man. Trading does not take much time. So, like, objectively, you should be able to have a normal life, no problem. Like, if you're spending more than a couple hours a day on the chart, you have an addiction problem. Your brain can't handle this amount of stress for long periods of time. Trading is incredibly stressful. We're waiting for a signal. There's no signal. It's not a signal group. What will you do if a market reaches all-time high? Probably be more likely to buy. I mean, it depends. It depends if it's making new highs or if it's failing. I don't. Again, your guys' questions sometimes are just make no sense. I'll just trade. Why do I stream on Kick and not YouTube? I stream on YouTube, yes. It's not true. I stream on YouTube as well. How do you participate in the giveaway? You wait until I do the giveaway and then you type in what I tell you on screen. What was my highest loss in trading? I blew my own personal account one time when I was younger completely because of a market crash, and I was following someone. It's a bit of a story. This guy came into a Discord. I'll tell you a story here while we're watching this. Guy came into my Discord. I was running another Discord back in the day. It was called the Fishing Boat, right? And we were fishing for trades, right? Guy came in and he's like, I'm a good trader, right? And he's like, what I do is I watch the order book and I see it thin out and get thicker and whatnot, and then based off of that, that's when I get in and out. And there was a strategy back in the day called on BitMEX where BitMEX would pay the makers of the market because there was liquidity issues in Bitcoin, right? So they wanted people to place limit orders, right? Because there's not enough market makers. So they would pay the makers and then they would take extra from the takers. So the people who did market order would lose 0.75%, right? And the people who placed limit orders would make 0.25%. So his whole strategy was use the order book to determine where it's thin, right? And then fill those with maker limit orders, right? So that he would get paid off of the commissions. And he would simply buy back and forth with limit on either side, basically. And as the price went there, he would get paid despite, him entering at essentially the same price back and forth, back and forth. So the commissions were actually reversed and he was getting paid for every trade he took. So he's like, I'm a good trader. I figured out this thing. I was like, okay, whatever, right? He's like, no, I'll jump on live stream and I'll do this and everyone in the Discord can follow along. So I was like, okay, let's do this. Watch him. Boom, boom. First day, makes a few $100. Okay, wow, interesting. Next day, a few $100. Next day, a few $100. I was like, interesting, okay. So we start doing this as a group. We start just watching him. He tells us when he's getting in and out. We start, milking the profit each day. And I doubled up, tripled up my account like pretty quick, pretty dang quick, right? Back and forth, back and forth. And, just like with everything, all good things come to an end when you don't actually know what you're doing. Bitcoin took a flash crash one day while I was at work. And we were in one of those positions. And because we're trying to get out on limit orders, you don't ever want to be a taker because that destroys the strategy. So you can't get out of a position, right? You would just basically, it would be basically sort of like a DCA sort of thing. If it went against us a little bit, right? We would add to it a bit. And it went really hard against us, and it was a gambling strategy similar to martingale. So I don't advise you to do martingale. You can add to a position, that's fine, but martingale is silly, right? And then all within 2 minutes, my entire account was blown. And that was painful. That was a painful experience. Yep. And then from there, he proceeded to leave. He was gone. Even you don't remember that Discord. That was before Hunter FX. That was before you guys knew about me. I did that, and then somebody else from that Discord, the Fishing Boat, think his name was Pepe or something. He was from Toronto. Forget his actual name. And he started a brokerage, and I joined the brokerage as like an affiliate. I worked for him a little bit. That was my first kind of trading job, and his commissions were $21 per lot. Insane. And he made shitloads of money because, you know, he was basically scamming people, right? So I left that. But how I got into YouTube was I started making videos because I wanted to help him promote his company. I was working for him. I was trying to help him promote his company. So I started a YouTube channel under my own name to start teaching people about trading so that they could go to his brokerage, right? And then after a few months of that, I realized he was charging people way too much that was acceptable. So it's called Trade Vago. I'm not sure if it even still exists. Trade Vago. Trade Vago. It doesn't look like it exists anymore. Is it? No, that's probably, I don't know. Yep, back in the day, 2019. See? So I started working with him. Yeah, this all looks familiar. I think I made these. I think I made those images back in the day. Yeah, this guy, Professor Pepe. This is it. Yeah, this was the Discord. This was the Discord. Ryan was a guy. That's Pepe. Yeah, this was back in the day. See if I'm on it. Yeah, Nerian, the old guy we used to hang out with. There you go, Hunter. Look, Hunter. See? Back in the day. That's what we did. Should we short this? I'm scared to short again. I'm nervous to short again. Try again.
Order filled.
Oops, I don't want that much.
Order filled.
5, fine. Do a little short here. It did come up like I said, right? I would ideally not like it to come up much higher. We'll keep it somewhat tight. Something like that. Yeah, realistically, that's all I want, I think. Sort of a 1 hour setup. Generally, always 1 hour-ish. Do I dye my beard? No. What's the essence you vaping and smoking? How does it relate to trading? No, there's no reason. Vaping doesn't make trading better. If anything, it makes it worse. I don't know why you guys are all fucking gung ho about vaping. Why did I stop being the CEO of Maven? Maven is a massive company and I have no corporate experience. I'm much better in the role that I do now. John is more meticulous and insane. So John is better at CEO. I'm better at making content. My personal persona, my personal brand is not one of a CEO. It's one of a crazy lunatic sort of thing, right? I got all these crazy ideas. I'm a visionary sort of type, right? John is a much more stable mind than I. A CEO needs to be very dedicated, incredibly obsessed and dedicated and strict. I am not a strict person. Which indicators? Sessions and Polytrends. Polytrends is $250 a month. Sessions is just shows you what time it is. That's it. You don't need either. It should come back down to the origin of this move now, I think. After we lost that, it should come here. Hopefully. With a 4 hour close like this, like where it failed here, you generally don't want to be short for too long. Only failed there, but it's quite strong still, right? I'll just get down here. Looking very tired. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's incredibly early, like usual. After Maven, what's my favorite prop from Top Step? If you want to know best CFD firm, I wouldn't trade on any CFD firm except for Maven. Personally. But you guys do you. Why do experienced traders behave differently from other people? I don't even understand the question. Don't understand the question, my guy. Maven has high spreads? No, it doesn't. Same as brokerages. You guys just think that Maven has higher spreads because other firms have zero spread, okay? Firms have actively tried to make zero spread, but the issue with that is when you have zero spread, you need to make people fail for other reasons, okay? So they apply silly rules or they deny payouts, okay? Maven has built a sustainable business that is based around the same traits that brokers use, right? We use the same sort of spreads as brokers would. So our profit margins basically come from, I'm in the office today, I'm not using Starlink. This is my kitchen actually. So I'm calling this the office while we're doing this challenge because I will be spending some time in the office, okay? And this will be treated as an office where I do laundry, feed my cat, you know, use the oven, you know, maybe take a shower or a bath or something, you know what I mean? Which is perfectly fine because I'm sure if you did this on your own, you would also use your mom's place or you'd use your office or you'd use the gym or something like that, okay? Everyone's going to have some sort of place that they can go to that is not outside because I'm not a fucking crackhead, you know what I mean? I'm not a crackhead homeless. I'm just homeless, you know what I mean? It's different. Being a crackhead homeless is different from being like a homeless man trying to make it work, you know what I mean? Silas is the name of the cat. Maven 3-step has wider spreads compared to other steps? No, they're all the same. All the same, bro. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. That'd be news to me. That'd be bad news to me. I'm pretty sure everything's the same. I know some firms actually change the cost and spreads and things like this from like funded versus, and I actively have advised that way we don't want to fuck the traders over. But I know like my Forex funds actively increased by a substantial margin the commissions on trades once you're funded to make you fail after getting funded. And that's not I don't like that. So I'm trying to run as honest business as possible. And the reality is if you guys don't like the fact that there is zero spread, then, you know, go to a firm. You're welcome to go to a firm that will deny your payout instead. You know what I mean? Because you do, like, as a business, you need to make money, right? And commissions are the way that brokerages and prop firms make money, in my mind. Because that's basically what you're making money off of. Oh, it smells like pee all of a sudden. Did I pee myself? Oh, or Silas or something? No, I'm clean. It smells like pee. People complain about everything, but they don't know how to trade. Yeah, pretty much. Here's my advice. Maven is a prop firm that teaches you how to trade. That is my goal, okay? I want to be the entry level prop firm. I don't want to be the ultimate best I don't want to be like the fucking Lambo of prop firms. I want to be the Civic, you know what I mean? I want to be the one that everyone gets when they start out. They can crash it a couple times and it doesn't matter, okay? I want to be the one that teaches you how to trade properly so that you don't crash your Lambo in the future, okay? So if you don't like Maven after a while, fuck off and go somewhere else and buy yourself a Lambo. You know what I mean? Buy the more expensive one, okay? But Maven is teaching you good habits. Don't trade the news. Don't use martingale. Don't use gambling strategies. Don't scalp. We actively tell you do not scalp, right? Why? Because it's super gambling and you're going to crash your car. It's like driving high speeds in your Civic, right? You can drive high speed in your Lambo as long as you have proper control. Don't do that shit at Maven. You know what I mean? So the spreads aren't zero, right? Which is good because it teaches you that you shouldn't be scalping. It teaches you how to use longer term swing trades. We don't have swap, which also promotes, you know what I mean? There's zero other firms that don't have swap. Okay. Does anyone complain about how we don't have swap? No, because it's beneficial. But you will complain about the thing that counterbalances that. So instead of having zero spread and swap, we've decided, okay, we're gonna have a little bit of spread and no swap because that actively promotes good trading habits. Okay. Everything that we have and maybe like we have a you can't make like $10,000 in you know what I mean, like there's a withdrawal cap, right? Because we don't want gamblers, we don't want people shooting for crazy numbers, because I know for sure that promotes gambling habits, and I'm not here to make your life worse. I don't want you to be a gambler. I want you to learn how to trade. That's authentically what I want to do. And I realize that, 90% of you are not going to listen to that advice and they're going to complain. But the reality is the 10% that do are going to be able to make it. You know what I mean? They're going to be able to make it eventually. And I'm helping the ones that actually do take the proper advice. That's why we do these streams. That's why we do the podcast. That's why we do proper education, right? As much as the 90% like to say, hey, prop firms are just out to get us, I authentically actually want you to do well in the long run, while, making me a little bit of money on the way. My company, you know what I mean? I can make money, you can learn, and then make money, okay? Once, I fully recommend once you make a decent amount of money, don't be trading on prop firms anymore, okay? Maybe use them as like the side, but use both, right? That's what I do. Are you different from John? John is a different person, yes. Y'all's questions are getting crazier and crazier. Maven is a place where you learn about prop firm when you have no experience in firms. Maven is the entry level prop firm experience. It is the Civic. Reliable, nothing fancy. It'll get you the job done and it'll teach you what you need to learn in order to then go buy your Lambo in the future, okay? That's it. No fucking bells and whistles, boys. Maven is the Civic. Everyone can afford it. It's the best entry firm, okay? But guess what? It's not super fast. It's not super fast and fucking flashy, okay? We are fast with our payouts, but you get the metaphor, hopefully. Where's the orange? It's in one of the videos. Just the video's not been posted yet. Editing time takes time, bro. Did it really do that? Fucking hell, bro. Can that just fucking go one more? I'll do this. Wow, that was so close, dude. Okay, it's got to reject off this. If it doesn't reject off this level, we're gonna have to close it. If it comes back in. Don't do it, bro. That'll be a really annoying day. I gotta go for a meeting in a couple minutes. If it regains the zone, then I'm gonna get out. So silly. So silly, dude. It's fucking gay. They didn't even use the level. Like, what the heck could you be bouncing off of? There's nothing there. There's nothing there, bro. Like, they're just... I don't understand what's going on with the levels. They're not using the levels lately. It's really annoying. Okay, I gotta go. It's probably gonna get closed out for a loss. I was so close to hitting target too. That's the worst feeling, man. What's it? Fucking hell, bro. Regained it. Let's close.
Order filled.
Okay, we gotta wait. Yeah, I gotta go. Thanks for watching, guys. Stream every day. Maven is not high commission. No, you're wrong. Do we want to compete with FTMO? Nope. Like, I literally just explained to you that we don't want to be another firm. Other firms, well, here's the thing. Would you rather pay twice as much? That's what FTMO costs, right? Would you rather pay twice as much? If you're willing to pay twice as much, see, that's the thing. We don't want to be the expensive firm. We want to be the reliable, budget-friendly firm. Right. Yeah, that pump was gay, bro. Anyways, that's a really annoying day. Once again, market has been really, really annoying because they're not actually using levels. Bye, John. Somebody think I'm just thinking.